Ricciardo is forced to a shock move. If there is one driver we are eager to see back on the grid, that has to be Daniel Ricciardo. Still, the Aussie has publicly spoken about his future, saying that as of now there isn't a place on the grid that he would fill in the upcoming season. Ricciardo has publicly said that he would rather sit out a whole season rather than drive for a backmarker team in 2023. This is something that many fans, including experts, have judged negatively, but still, Ricciardo has been forced to make a shock move, and that won't leave the F1 family in a happy place.
You've been the same place I have, because we both got a croaky voice today.
Ricciardo's tenure with McLaren is finally over after 2 devastating years for his career. Although many thought that the Aussie would rebound from these 2 years, it seems like it will take much more than that to recover his trust when it comes to driving an F1 car. Still, Ricciardo's future is very uncertain, and although he plans to sit out a whole season and then be back in 2024 looking for a place, this isn't something that can be easily accomplished. Drivers who are proven champions like Alonso, Schumacher and Raikkonen are allowed to take a break because the teams know what they are going to receive back from them when they return. We've seen how important Alonso was in 2021 and 2022 for Alpine after sitting out a whole season for the team, and we've seen how important Schumacher was when it comes to the development of Mercedes. Ricciardo is far away from these drivers, and although he has showcased some talent in his career, it's likely that his career will be over if he decides to step back from the sport. This is exactly what he plans on doing in 2023, and when talking about his future, Ricciardo said, "I'm not kind of seeing next year as all or nothing. Obviously, 2024 is something I want to be aware of and look at. So that's kind of where I'm like. If it means taking a step back to then take 2 steps forward, that's what we are trying to figure out at the moment, me and my team. So that could be a year off."
Lando Norris now behind Daniel Ricciardo, so the 2 McLarens swapping places.
Also, Ricciardo provided us with further updates on his career choices at the Suzuka GP, saying that he needs a break from F1 in order to reset for the 2024 season and come back even stronger. What he doesn't understand is the fact that F1 seats aren't something that are given out like free candies, and we've seen how much Nick de Vries had to fight for a spot in F1. On top of that, he is much younger than Ricciardo, and when you have a 35-year-old coming back in 2024 with just 8 race wins, not many teams, other than the backmarker ones, are going to die for your signature. It's something I've certainly evaluated since the summer break. I wanted to give it a few races, and the more time that passes, the more I feel like it's what I need. Albeit as well as the opportunities, there's not really anything in the form of next year. It's part I would like the break and need to reset a little bit, and part 2024 is, well, some other things may open up. I think that there could be some better opportunities in 2024, so that's really what all this confirms, and now where the sights are set. Certainly the plan is to still be involved in F1. It's kind of just like hitting pause for a little bit as I see it. And let's say as far as my F1 career goes, the full intention is to be driving for 2024, said Ricciardo. As we mentioned earlier in this video, breaks in F1 can be paid with a heavy fine. Ricciardo could risk his entire F1 career just for the sake of not driving for a backmarker team. Plus, with the new regulations and the new cars, he could be a decent candidate for Haas, something that many experts have spoken about. Jacques Villeneuve was the first one to criticize Daniel for his decision to sit out a whole season, and when speaking about the Aussie sitting out the 2023 season in its entirety, the former F1 champion said, "It could make him lazy. You can take a year off if you're an Alonso, a Schumacher, if you've been world champion and won a lot of races, if you know in the paddock that you'll always be at your best no matter what season. After 4 bad years, don't do that. You take what you can get. If you have an offer to drive in Formula 1, then you take every cockpit. In public, you will say you don't want to drive for one of the back teams, but if that's the only contract you can get, then you'll sign it." When talking about sitting out a season, Ricciardo has 2 scenarios on his mind. The first one is to spend some time in his homeland of Australia, while the second one is to join Mercedes as their reserve driver. The second scenario is something that had the potential to be the best for him until Hamilton spoke about his future. But why Hamilton? The Briton doesn't have a contract for the 2023 season, and the Brackley-based team were rumoured to seek a replacement for the 7-time world champion, given the fact that the youngsters from their academy are still too far away from F1 experience. This is why Ricciardo would be the perfect fit to be Russell's teammate. But Hamilton and Wolff both spoke about the Briton's future in F1. As Hamilton said, "I think he's far too talented, and he's earned the right to be amongst us all racing. If he's part of our team, that'd be great, but a third role is not really what's best for him. If I was managing him, he'd be racing. For me, I feel healthier than I've ever felt. I'm feeling fit, I love what I'm doing, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. My goal is to always be with Mercedes. I signed with them in 1997. I love that we have the long partnership we have. I feel like we are embarking on a lot of really positive things, not only in the sport but outside, and I think there's a lot to accomplish together. I want to be a part of that." Toto Wolff also said in an interview that he spoke with Hamilton about the future that the Briton has with the Brackley-based team. When talking about this matter, Wolff said that Hamilton has at least 5 more years in him as a Mercedes driver, and it's only a matter of time when he signs the contract extension with Mercedes. It's more than evident that Hamilton is currently playing the role that Schumacher once did for Mercedes, and that he is bringing the team back to its winning path. The advantage is we speak a lot together. Just last week we sat down and he says, "Look, I have another 5 years in me. How do you see that?" Over time we have just grown together. We are totally transparent with each other. Lewis will be the first one to say, "I can't do this anymore because I feel I haven't got the reactions anymore, or I've just lost fun doing it," and there is another generation growing up that is just very strong. Although it's evident that Ricciardo doesn't want to drive for a backmarker team, the options for Haas and Williams remain open if he decides to change his mind.
Here goes Lando Norris on the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc.
This is something that Gunther Steiner, the principal of Haas, also said, adding that the advantage is currently with Schumacher due to the fact that he has already worked with the team. But he also said that if Ricciardo is interested in driving for Haas, who have shown massive potential in the first half of the season, he should give them a call. In his situation, Daniel first has to decide for himself what he does. It makes little sense to persuade him to do something. He has to decide for himself. If he feels like it, he will certainly call. Otherwise, he will probably say, "I'll do a sabbatical or something else." If he's interested in us, he's not shy to call me up. I am not going to chase him down. I want him to decide what he wants to do for himself first before being talked into something. I think he's a good driver, and I don't know how he got in the situation he's in now, but I think he needs to come clean with himself and decide what he's going to do. For us, he would be a big hit. He was a race winner just last year. I rate him as a driver, and I have no idea why he doesn't perform right now. That is for him to figure out. With that being said, what do you think about Ricciardo's decision to sit out the 2023 season? Let us know in the comments below.